Welcome back, fellow travel warriors. I'm Steve.
And I'm George.
Join us as we unpack the challenges, excitement, preparation.
And passion for travel.
How you doing today, George?
I'm doing great. How you doing, Stevie?
Well, it's a little chilly this weekend. In Phoenix, if it gets below 65, there's first alerts, storm watch, so, but it is, house is actually a little bit cold this morning. So, looking forward to a nice, cool weekend. Probably a nice afternoon hike tomorrow will be really nice with the cool weather. So looking forward to that. Today we want to talk about the birth of the extended stay hotel sector in hotel lodging. And as we know, I started in 1996 on the road. I think 1995 was when it became more mainstream. There was probably two or three uh, hotel brands in this space, and actually I couldn't wait to experience that first stay at an extended stay hotel. That didn't happen until around 97 in the fall. We actually had a project at the University of Kentucky, beautiful city, and that is where we first stay at. I think it was Extended Stay of America, and this was the first large project where everyone on our team got to get their own room. And up until then, a lot of the people that were paired up at the Holiday Inn or what have you. So this was a game changer for us to be able to have our own individual place with a kitchenette and a little couch, and it was wonderful. What are your thoughts on the extended stay market?
Well, as I remember, the first extended stay hotel that we stayed at was a Candlewood Suites. I believe it was in Knoxville, Tennessee, in Turkey Creek area. And then, since we work a lot in Nashville, there was a Candlewood in Brentwood. And so I remember you coming to me and said, "Hey, George, I found this Candlewood Suites, and you wouldn't believe they have free washer and dryer. You could do your laundry." And I remember, being so excited because sometimes the hotels don't have, self laundry. You'd have to go find a laundromat somewhere, and then it would cost, quite a bit of money. At least back then, when you're broke, $2 or $3 or $4 to do laundry a week was a lot. And so to have a place where you can go and get free laundry done, what was awesome. That's how I remember the Candlewood. Back then, it was Priority Club, now IHG, and that was my first experience with extended stay hotels. Thanks to you.
Well, I was in Albuquerque doing a small project, and was going down one of the main streets in the city, and I look to my left and I see this Candlewood Suites, and it was brand new. I pulled over and I checked with management. I said, "Can you give us a tour?" And I was blown away by it. So it was really kind of for that time. It was modern, had a desk area. The layout was really nice. So had the laundry room. The only thing one of the annoyances of being staying in one of these extended stay hotels that I recall, especially in the fall when we traveled so much, was it's a Sunday and you're trying to get your laundry done. I can tell you probably a dozen times where from the time I got up in the morning, Sunday morning until like 9-10 o'clock at night, I could not get a washer,
That's
to
true.
wash my clothes. I'd go back and forth, and someone seemed to always beat me to it. So that was kind of an annoyance. But yeah, the extended stay was really transformative for us, and we weren't able to. So what happened was, and maybe you can remind me, we used to, depending on the city, decide if we were on a 3 week or a 4 week or a 5 week. I think it was a minimum of 3 weeks. If we were going to be somewhere for 3 weeks or longer, we would definitely consider staying in an extended stay hotel. but you being a point guru, always pointing out, yeah, but if we stay there, we won't get the points, and we'll only get half of the points, and that was a
Hmm.
consideration for us and for everyone. And when we did pull the trigger on those stays, we had to tell everyone, hey, listen, you're not going to get, this is an extended stay hotel. You're not going to get, you know, 10 points for every dollar or whatever the metric was. But it was a trade off, right? It was a trade off.
Was
Um,
it, it was, and I think we used to even sometimes, like if we were going to a city and then we were only there for doing like a few days training and then we kind of dispersed to other locations around the country, um, we would stay just for a few days too, just because we knew you'd only get 5 points for every dollar, especially if it was a Hilton property ISG, because of the full size kitchen. I just, the other thing besides the laundry was, staying in regular hotels, you have the mini fridge, and
mhm.
that's if your room got it. And when we first stayed at the extended stay, it was like you walked in, you see that huge fridge in the kitchen, and we're just like so pumped up. So that was excited. But yeah, we would stay for a longer period of time. Also, with we'd make sure to offset points was if IHG or Hilton had the double points promotion or triple points promotion, that would help out too. So, but as long as we let the counselors know about the points, I think everybody was good. But it was a game changer. It would help out. We didn't have to go out and eat every time. You can go to the grocery store, buy a bunch of stuff, and keep it in the fridge and in the pantry. And you didn't have to waste your meal per diem, so to speak, on going out breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Well, the last extended stay that I recall that we've stayed at, and this is not on a work assignment. This is on a personal trip. Actually, was in Las Vegas, and it's a residence in. I don't know if it was one of the newer ones, but it was really nice, George. It had really high ceilings, and the appliances were nice, and it just had a roomy, more like a residential feel to it, and
Mm-hmm.
they're pretty nice, But you kind of looked up, you did a little bit of a market research on the extended stay. You want to share some of those tidbits with us? Might be of
Yeah, I
interest.
do. Yeah. I mean, we talked about, since you started in the mid 90s and you realized kind of the birth of the extended stay, start until some years later. So I did do a little digging and noticed that a good chunk of extended stays did start in the mid 90s. One thing I wanted to share, the very first extended stay, it looks like, was called The Residence. It was by a gentleman by the name of Jack DeBoer, if I'm pronouncing his name right. That was 1975. And then
Wow,
he partnered with a gentleman in 1981. His name was Robert L. Brock. And they did a joint venture, and they changed name to the Residence Inn. And
interesting.
apparently they were the ones that kind of coined the phrase the extended stay market.
Wow,
So, that kind of started in the early 80s. Again, you had, like you said earlier, just a few companies that, were extended stay. And again, and then in the mid 90s, when corporate travel and such took off, you started seeing more of those extended stay hotels. For you and I, we stay a lot at Hilton properties and IHG properties. So for us, we stayed at a lot of, for IHG, we stayed at Candlewood Suites and Staybridges. Then for Hilton, we stayed a lot at the Homewood Suites. And then just recently, they've added the Home 2 Suites, which you were the first one to kind of point that out. I remember, I don't know, it was 10 years ago or so, and you were like, George, man, there's this new Hilton property, Home 2 Suites. And those were super nice. We really enjoy. We stay in one in Elkhart, Indiana. They just built a brand new one a couple of years ago, and we stay there. It is really nice and modern. Um, and we really enjoyed the lobby area. Um, I've stayed at just like once or twice at the Residence Inn by Marriott and by the Town Place Suites. It's another Marriott. I've stayed there a couple of times. Those are nice, but when you're loyal to a brand like I am or we are to Hilton, and I do a lot of IHG, we tend to kind of stick with those. How
Uh,
about you, Stevie? What?
Well, good memories about the stay bridges. I remember one time I had banked so many IHG points that I my sister wanted to go with all my nephews and nieces to California, and I was there at the time, and a couple of different vacations, but I was able to gift her and the kids some points to stay at a stay bridge because I liked them when I was on the road, and she absolutely loves them and has fond memories of staying at the stay bridge. Stay bridges, I believe, have a studio, one bedroom, and two bedroom, and
Mhm.
so what I recall at the time, I was in the upper tier membership, and a couple times they gave me the upgrade to a two bedroom. I explained that I was,
Nice.
with my sister, and it was a family trip, and they said, "Hey, we have one available." And so, yeah, my sister and the kids, they have fond memories of the stay bridges. One of the new entries in this segment has been Weston has a one called the Element, and I have not stayed in one of those, but I can tell you, I love Weston hotels. They have their heavenly beds and with the huge thick duvets, on the bed, and love staying there. Particularly the one at SFO, Weston SFO. You can see the planes landing. There's a trail across the street that you can go walking, and just really wonderful. So that's a really nice spot to go to if any of our viewers are going into SFO with shuttles to the airport.
One memory, Steve, when we worked in Knoxville, Tennessee, in like 2008 and 2009, we spent a lot of time working there, and you found the Homewood Suites in Turkey Creek. Remember that?
Yes, Turkey Creek, great memories.
That we were there so long, we got to know the staff. They were really good to us, the girls there, and the breakfast was fantastic. Was the lady that served at night, was her name Maria? Remember the little short lady?
Yeah, she
She
was
was
really
so
nice.
nice.
She was always
uh,
attentive.
yeah, we couldn't wait to Monday through Thursday to have dinner down there. Always a great memory of that. I always hold the Homewood Suites close to my heart, just because how much time we spent at that one and how good they were to us for those couple of years.
It'll be nice to actually, later on maybe make a trip out there and see what it looks like now since it's been over a decade that we've been out there. So it'd be great. But that's a Turkey Creek in Knoxville. That's that area there. We've got great shopping, restaurants. Hopefully, hasn't been downgraded since we stayed there. So you just never know post pandemic what an area
Hmm.
might have turned into, right? But
Yeah.
extended stay hotel market, I think, is here to stay. And one of the interesting things that I was reading about extended stay and the impact of the pandemic and COVID-19 was that they were able to be really resilient during that time. They were able to maintain about a 60% occupancy in 2020, which is, I would think, very good during that time, with the
Oh
shutdown
yeah.
and all that. And I think it was convenient for people that wanted to quarantine. So I think definitely, I think this extended stay hotel segment is here to stay, and just I'm looking forward to, like I said, uh, checking out some of these new brands, particularly the Weston Element brand that's here close to where I live. There's a property. It'd be nice to check it out.
Can I share one more thing, Steve,
Hmm.
with the extended stay? So, um, for those that are looking over my shoulder, you see me with my better half, and we stayed, or excuse me, we met in Utica, Michigan, at a stay bridge. And
Interesting.
so That was in 2000, the fall of 2008. And then we were working in 2014. So 6 years later, we were back in the area. So we thought, hey, let's go back to the hotel and kind of recreate the first time we met in the lobby. And we drove there, and the area had grown so much around the hotel that I didn't even recognize. Like when we were kind of, I'm like, where are we? Is this the right area? and and so pull in the parking lot, and it was, remember, oh yeah, okay, this is it. But everything else was different around, and we walked in the lobby, and and then we told the girl at the front desk, our story, and then asked her to take a picture of us in the lobby, and we were so excited. The only bummer was when we got back to our hotel, we were staying outside of Detroit. I went back and looked at the pictures on my phone, and they were all blurry. So I don't have a great picture of that. Between the Stay Bridge in Utica and the Homewood Suites in Turkey Creek, I do hold the extended stays, close to my heart.
Awesome. Well, that kind of wraps it up on the extended stay hotel market. What anything new that you kind of read about travel this week that is of interest to you? For me, I did read a new ship that Princess Cruise Line has. It's called the Sun Princess. I don't know if you've seen an article
Mm-mm.
on that, but it's going to be the flagship top ship that Princess Cruise Lines has ever built. And you definitely will put a link in there for people that would like to get on that love boat and try it out. What else have you got going on your travel radar,
Well,
George?
well, we'll save a little bit for the next episode. I am planning a big trip in April. Did run into a little snag this week. Love to share a little bit next week on that. It's part of the planning of travel, and stuff that comes up, and you always have to be ready to pivot. You always have to, if you're planning a trip, especially like a vacation or something, you always have to kind of have plan B and plan C ready in case something happens. And I can share that next week too. Also, for everybody, we would love to hear from you. With your experience in extended stays, which ones do you like? Which brands? Which hotels? We would love to hear from you guys.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us, and we want everyone to join our ever growing community of travel warriors and continue this journey together.
Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell to stay updated on our latest episodes. Until next time, safe travels.